Reasons for this being our favorite event is because we condense into 2 very, very quick days a lot of phenomenal content from some outstanding presenters, from Melanie and from Micah and from Ashley. And I think if I couldn't say everything that they said, but as I thought about Ashley, I thought, so here's this new coach that sat in your seats just a year ago. Okay, someone that she said, goals intimidated me. I didn't like goals, but I overcame that, and I got intentional about setting some clear, intentional goals, and then I went after them. I loved how Micah keeps it simple, straightforward, and yet she has this ability to connect and to create this sense of community with people. Doesn't have to be complicated. Melanie is an absolute master of prioritizing and executing on the things that matter most. She has this ability to keep it simple. I think about one thing she said yesterday was, in week number 3, what she does is she plans for the next month and she gets her team rallied. This is week number 3, hint, hint. If you were to go back and if you were to take what you learned from this meeting and you started to share that with your group and you started to strategize, that's what leaders do. One of my favorite definitions of leadership is very, very short. It's succinct. It's leadership is creating results in a way that inspires trust. Leadership is creating results in a way that inspires trust. Why is that so powerful? It's because leadership is about results. Leadership is about doing. Leadership is about executing. It's about figuring out what matters most, what's going to move the needle, where your time can be best spent, where you can take your skills and your abilities and the resources that are around you and apply them to get the right kind of results in a way that inspires trust. It's about doing it right. It's about becoming who you want to become, doing it the right way. We had Jonathan Gelfand give a riveting presentation on compliance. That's all about doing it the right way, but more importantly, we want to be known as a company that does it right. We want to be here for the long term. We want to be here and do this in a way that's sustainable. When people think of Beachbody, we want them to think of a company that is trustworthy, that's real, that produces real results. That's what Darren was just talking about with Shakeology. I was talking to him backstage about this, and he says, I wish I could infuse in everybody how phenomenal this product really is and the impact that it has and how it reaches just beyond this group, but it reaches different parts of the world, and I wish I could get that into people's bloodstream so they could share that with other people and how precious and how powerful this product really is. But leadership is about taking these things and then executing on them. So as we invest in you to come here, and it's really not an investment. It's honestly, I guess it's an investment, but it's just this honor to have you here because you've earned your way here to come here so you can go back and inspire your teams and lead at a higher level. I started out talking about this, a little bit of this journey from good to great. My hope is that from this group, there's going to be some good coaches that become great coaches. And that you then inspire other coaches to become great coaches. The challenging piece is going to be, like Michael talked about, in imperfect conditions. It will never be perfect. It's always going to be hard. It's always going to be challenging. It's going to be rewarding, though. And the question as you go back to your homes, as you go back to your little part of the world, is why would anyone choose to follow you? Okay. Someone used the term, why would you want you in your downline? Would you want you in your organization? I remember being at a leadership seminar one time when they asked the question, why would anyone choose to follow you? And it was that gut check of, am I leading the right way? Am I leading with integrity? Am I inspiring? Am I continuing to provide new learning and raising the bar and pushing through the hard spots? As you go back, ask this question about yourself. And the good thing is that you start where you are. You start where you are, and that's the baseline. That may be the brutal fact of where you are, but but you can build from there. And there's great potential. You didn't get here by chance. You didn't get here by accident. You did many, many right things to be here. So you need to continue to build on those. As I went around last night and I forced myself in a bunch of conversations last night, and I would ask people, what's the one thing? What did you learn? And it was really interesting because most people came back to, I've got to keep it simple. I've just got to focus on the fundamentals. I've got to be just a little bit more disciplined. As Kim shared in his presentation when he talked about the 2/10 of a second, and you take that and you apply it to Michael's presentation on the leadership ladder, team leaders, and the number of leaders that some of our most successful coaches have, it's 2/10 of a second. It's just that little bit extra execution that you bring to your business, and a little bit more focus to your business. It just continued to come back to this simplified focus and execute consistently. Being around long enough for, there's Melanie again, you go, what is Melanie doing carrying coconuts on a beach? What does that have to do with this? I don't know. It was just a good picture. And David Strong printed my presentation and I just thought, it was a good one. So I thought, but it's simple, okay? And maybe the learning from this, I'll make one up on the spot, okay, it's improvising. We had this race, we had this Tahitian Olympics, and it was simply on a beach, and you think, well, how do you have an Olympics on the beach and have some fun out of that? You know what? You tie some coconuts on a stick, and you create some competition, and you have fun, and all of a sudden, what happened out of that moment is it brought the very best out of people. One of the coaches here, Casey Depew, talking to last night, lives in upstate New York, most of the time has no internet, okay? You kidding me? She's built her business to a premier, I believe to a premier coach, looking at elite this year, and she continues to grow. It's like this. If she's building this business successfully, she's making the most out of what she has. You don't have to have a lot to be successful in this business. We talk about one thing here, really, we talk about the power of elite. And honestly, elite is great. And Doug did a phenomenal job of talking about how you get there and reverse engineered that and all of that stuff. And encourage you to get to know the numbers behind the business. But more importantly, what happens is not that you hit elite, it's what happens on the way to achieving elite. It's the type of person that you become. It's the type of business that you build. It's the things and the skill sets that you develop as you become elite. That's why it's so important. That's why he talked about in the second year, it's so important to go for elite and then bring your coaches along with you to develop other elite coaches. That's how you build duplication. So I hope that as you look at elite, it's not just about recognition. It's just not about what you get. It's about who you become. It's about what you develop as you become an elite coach. Yes, the perks are fun and all that kind of stuff. But the sustaining stuff is what happens along the way. Now, we've had some great content. You've taken it all down, and we'll make as many slides and things available to you as we can, but it's now what you do with what you got that's going to matter as you go home. It's taking the intention that you've got, turning it into a decision, and then transforming that into action. Melanie was so clear on that. We can throw all the motivation and blow the smoke at you and make you feel warm and fuzzy, which we want to do and want to give heart because it's key. But in the end, you've got to develop and create results in your business. That's how you expand your circle. That's how you become a real leader. It's by the doing. And the great part, it's in the doing that you learn. Maybe a quick example, and I call this Don't Be a Jeff, okay? Maybe some of you have heard this story. Several years ago, we had the chance to be on an Elite 10 trip, and we had biking involved on this, road biking. And I like to road bike. And Carl likes to road bike, and we had people that like to road bike. And we were riding through Tuscany, absolutely phenomenally incredible, beautiful. I mean, seriously, it's like drop you in heaven kind of a deal. And then so you get to ride your bike through this and just spend time. Well, we had ridden already, and we'd come to one of the last stops before we were, well, I guess there were several more stops, but we were on our way to Siena. And we had stayed at this farmhouse out in the middle of Tuscany on these rolling hills. And the next morning, those that wanted to were going to take a bike ride up over these rolling hills. It was about a 20-mile bike ride from this farmhouse in Tuscany where we were staying into Siena. And the guides that were with us said, this is the most beautiful trip, the most beautiful bike ride you'll ever ride. So the night before, everyone's kind of going, yep, I'm going to ride. And I was one that really wanted to ride. And Carl was going to ride, and others were going to ride. And so that next morning, we're packing bags because we were going to go to Siena, and everybody else was going to meet us there that wasn't going to ride. I went down to breakfast, and it was about 7:30 in the morning, and people were sitting around having their coffee and their breakfast, and nobody was dressed in biking stuff. And I didn't have my biking stuff on yet, so I went down and said, so is anybody riding? And it was cloudy, and the wind was blowing. And the prediction was that it was going to be rainy and a little bit cold and not very favorable. And so everyone was kind of going, nah, I'm not going to ride. I don't want to ride. And one by one, it was like, it's kind of cold out there. I'm tired. It's going to rain. I don't think so. And I just had this pit in my stomach because I thought I really wanted to go on this ride. So I thought, I asked John Conklin, I said, where's Carl? And he says, I think he's up by the vans. Is he going to ride? He says, I don't know. So I get up to the van, I walk up there, and there's Carl. I'll never forget this sight. He was on his bike, he had his helmet on, and he was getting his water bottle, putting it in, and he just gave me this look. He just kind of put his head up, and it was like, you gonna ride, dude? And there was this moment where I just froze. And I realized right then that my bike had been put away. It was in the back of this van. I didn't have my biking stuff. I'd have to go run back up to my room and change. It was clear Carl was gone. It was clear the train was leaving the station. It was going to be gone by the time I got there. And this flood of things went through my mind of, okay, what do I do? Carl's going. I've got to inconvenience these guys. It's probably going to rain. I've got to go get this stuff. And I made a decision to not ride in that moment because it was going to be inconvenient and a little too much effort in the moment. I will never, ever forget that moment. We get on the bus, Carl takes off and rides, and it's rainy and hilly and all this kind of stuff. We get to Siena, and it's nice, fairly nice, and we pull into this restaurant, and there's Carl sitting back in his biking stuff, and he's just got this smile that's just this big, just huge smile on his face, kind of with his feet up on the table. He looks at me, and he just goes, it was spectacular. And it was like, ah! Kind of a thing. And the lesson from that, as you look at where you are right now, here we are, we're part of this, what I think is this remarkable company, doing absolutely remarkable things. A chance of a lifetime where you've made a decision, where you've invested to be here. You've sacrificed. You put your credibility on the line. And the question is, are you going to ride still? Are you going to keep riding? Because what I can assure you is that the rain is going to come, the wind is going to blow, the people that you thought were going to ride with you are going to say, not this morning. I'm not going to ride with you. You're going to get a flat. You're going to get past. All of that stuff is going to happen. But is your why great enough? Have you made the decision? Because what's going to happen when you get home is it's going to feel a little bit like the rain's coming and the wind's blowing and the laundry's stacked up and all that kind of stuff has to happen. You know, your husband hasn't behaved and done the stuff he was supposed to do with the dishes, you know, and you're ticked at him. And there's going to come this moment of truth. My challenge is to write. Turn your intentions into decisions and then into actions. And you receive the models of what you need to be doing from Micah and from Ashley and from Melanie. You have everything you need. Now you just have to do it. One last thought. The reason we all do this is probably different. Okay? This is why I do it. Okay? As we like to say, we have all boys except 6 girls. We have 1 boy and 6 girls, and now we have grandkids, okay, along the way. And but you know what? As Michael was talking yesterday, my kids feel just like Michael does. You know, when they tell people, what does your dad do? They say he works with Beachbody. And it's like, that is cool. My one little grandson, right here, I'm pointing over here, on the left, bottom, right here, Sawyer, was staying at our home this weekend. Beachbody is people doing good things that help other people become better. And he goes, you work at Beachbody, Papa? And I go, yeah. He goes, that good, Papa. And that's what we do. We have the opportunity, as we're earning a living, as we're going about this thing where it's hard, where we have to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps every day to help other people. And you as leaders have an opportunity to leave your mark. One thing that I learned a long time ago was the impact of small things on families. I look at myself as the leader of my family. And many years ago, as I would travel a lot, one thing that would happen for me was we had 7 kids, and I'd be leaving in the morning. I'd be taking off at 5 in the morning sometimes to travel. And I thought, I'm missing these kids. I don't get a chance to say goodbye to these kids. I've got to find a way to communicate to them that I was thinking of them, that I was loving them. And so I got this idea that before I would leave every morning, I would get a Sharpie, and I would go down to their room, and I would put an X and O on their hand. So every single morning, before I'd leave, I'd go down, grab their slobbery hand with their stinky breath, and put an X and O on their hand. Go to every bedroom and do that with each one of my kids. That now has become a tradition in our family of whenever I leave, whenever we leave each other, we put an X and O on each other's hands to leave our mark, to let each other know that we're thinking about them. And it has created this bond and this impact within our family that has become just this kind of glue. I'm confident that the last thing that's going to happen to me when I leave this good old world and they close the lid is there's going to be an X and O on my hand. And that'll be awesome. As leaders, don't underestimate your ability to leave a mark, positive impact on other people's lives. You have that ability through doing small things. So as we wrap out here, we've been sharing the word to kind of say, what does it mean to you? What's worth fighting for to you? What gives you courage? What makes you proud? And some of you have posted on the NLC page. I'm going to invite you to do something. We put a Sharpie in front of everybody. Hopefully, you have thought of a word. And if you haven't, that's fine. But maybe if you have and you feel comfortable doing that, I'm going to invite you to write it on your hand. And then those that want to share it outside, we asked Chris, our photographer, just to take a shot of that, and we think that might be a great send-off. And maybe some social media moments just to tell people This is what I'm fighting for. This is what Beachbody means to me. Only if you want to do that. Some of you are going, I never write on my hands. I would never, ever do that. That's just flat out wrong. But coaches, we want to thank you for being here. We want to thank our speakers. We want to thank our events team and everybody that has put their fingerprints on this event. We're going to have a great meal and then a great evening tonight starting at 5:30. Leave your mark. Thanks for being here, guys.